All right. How's everybody doing today? All right, let's start off. It was great to see, the weekly polls come out. Great to see how they come out and, seeing us up to number 7 in the U.S. News World Report as the number 7 university in America. It's great. Congratulations. Yeah, the one that counts, the most important poll. So congrats, that's a great job by Dr. Fox, by Maury Husseini, our entire board of trustees, by everybody on campus, our students, all our faculty, everybody involved at the University of Florida. To be ranked number 7 is pretty special. I think we got to pick it up a little bit in football now. They're putting pressure back on us. But it's a tremendous honor for the university to be that, as I think you look, a special deal to potentially be a top 10 football team and a top 10 university. There's not many of them out there, and that's really special for us and for the University of Florida. So for all of us, I'm really excited about that. And yeah, you guys questioned my polling, but that was a big poll. Big win for us this weekend. Obviously, it's hard to win, and I think there's a lot that we can still improve off of as a team. I thought we continued to take steps, especially, against a challenging team. Obviously, UT Martin's very well coached. They caused some different unique issues. I thought our guys continued, great attitude, played hard. We played with good effort. Still some things, the little attention to detail things that we have got to get cleaned up. Obviously, it completely changes this week with the test of starting conference play, having to start on the road against a very good team. Mark's done a great job of building that program up, and you can see they've built a great foundation. They have depth. They have experience. They play very physical style of football. Both lines, both offensively and defensively, along the line of scrimmage. And they got starters back. They've built a consistent winner, which is a lot of credit to what Mark Stoops has done and what he's been able to do, and their university, the patience. I think your instant gratification society right now, and it's like, hey, you gave him a chance to have a plan, implement a plan, and now they're reaping the rewards of that, of what they're doing. So it's going to be a huge test for us going up there. What else we got? For us, you guys love your injury time deal things. So Kadarius Toney's going to be out for a couple weeks. So we'll see how that how he heals. But we expect him to be out for a couple weeks. C.J. Henderson, I think, will be doubtful this week, but he's got a minor ankle sprain. Just as a skilled athlete, sometimes that's a little trickier, but hopefully he'll be back pretty quick. I know, talking to him, he wants to play this week, but we're going to see how it goes. We're not going to put him out there unless he's 100% healthy. Hoping to get Bernie and Jawan Taylor. We expect to get them back this week off of injury, so that'll help with depth on the defensive side of the ball right there. What do you guys got?
Hey, Dan. So how was the vibe in the building? SEC's opening this week. You want to ratchet it up. You said 10 notches. What's that mean? How do you go about doing that?
I think it's, one, I think, the sense of urgency of the players. I think, like I said, we've had a great attitude so far this year with the guys. I think that we've done a lot of time trying to coach them on the little details. And how when I talked about the margin of error shrinks if you want to be really special and have a great team. And, those are the things that we constantly talk on. I don't have to come in and be a cheerleader and motivate our guys. They're coming in to work out. They're ready to go. Everybody's ready to go at meetings. They have a great attitude going out to practice, ready to work. It is the most minute of details of what you're doing it, whether it's at practice, whether it's at a walkthrough, whether it's at film study. Just that ability to focus and make sure I'm exact on every single detail is huge. I think it will. I think that, the energy will crank up a lot because it is conference play right now. human nature. I mean, it's hard to be motivated at the highest of levels for 12 consecutive weeks when you're 18 to 22 years old. I mean, it's hard. I mean, that's why I don't think you see a lot of NFL teams go undefeated. I mean, and all of that, and so I think your human nature causes you. I wish we could be. Because I want consistency of performance and how to perform at the highest of levels. But human nature sometimes creeps in. So I would imagine as we come in this morning, we had everybody's ready to go, and we'll see a practice today that we have that. The guys know that they end up, they naturally just, it happens. They pick it up a little bit because it's a different game.
How much will last year's game be discussed, and can you use that as some motivation? I mean, that was...
Not really. It'll be discussed within the scheme of what we're trying to do. But I don't see how it has much effect on this year's game, to be honest with you. I mean, they did a good job, won the game last year, and, hopefully we grew a lot from that as a team within our program and where we are. But, besides, hey, this is what they did to stop us, or this is what they ran on offense and defense, and here's how they made some plays. This caused us some problems. Here's some things we did well. That's about what we take out of last year's game.
Hey, Dan, you've had a lot of experience against Stoops over the years. What about his secondary in particular, his coverages, make him kind of challenging to coach against?
Well, I think they have a very good defensive system, very complimentary. You know what I mean? He knows his system. They have the answers, to the questions. That's always a big one. Is okay. Hey. They do enough things to cause you problems. It's okay, well, if they're going to do this, we want to attack here. Okay, but he's like, okay, well, then they can do that to take that away from you. And even though that might, okay, then if they do that, it's going to be open over here. And then, okay, we can make also this adjustment. This call is going to take that now away from you. And so I think that's one of the things that they do a really, really good job of mixing things up. They do a good job of mixing up pressures and coverage looks, and of dropping 8 guys into coverage, sometimes rushing different 4, 5, and 6 man rushes, and mixing up the different looks they give you with that. And I think knowing his system and how long he's done it, he knows the answers to the questions. As you attack him in one area, they can make the adjustments to take that away.
They do also a lot of man and zone also in the secondary as well. How much of a challenge do you think that will be for Felipe Franks going into this game?
Well, it always is. I mean, it's a different challenge than last week. Where there was so much drop 8 with guys all over the place. But obviously a different challenge. He's got to be. He's got to make his reads. And do, similar to what he did last week. Take what the defense gave us. There's, if they're going to give us a shot down the field, don't be afraid to take it. If they're not, don't be afraid to check it down. And really, do a good job of taking what they're giving us and recognizing the difference in coverages.
And obviously you've watched Coach Stoops and, as you said, build that program. Just the way he's kind of added building blocks and developed guys to get to where there used to be a huge talent gap, between Florida and Kentucky that maybe is not there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think I went through a similar situation. I mean, they went in at Mississippi State, of having a plan, having a vision, how to build it, and like I said, I mean, he's done a great job of that in going in and recruiting guys that fit their profile. They've gotten some really good players, and they've also gotten some guys maybe that are under the radar that they thought were pretty good, done a great job developing in them. They've done in the time I think he's been there, they've built an unbelievable football facility, so they have a cutting-edge great recruiting deal to bring kids on campus and see that they have a big-time football facility. They made upgrades to their stadium. He's built the program the right way, and I think you see now when you do that, you have a program that can become a consistent winner. And when, that's the type of program I think most schools want to have, and that's what he's been able to build.
And I know you guys practiced a little bit during the bye week for Kentucky. With the change in quarterback, does that just try to throw everything back to start?
I mean, they're not going to just scrap everything, and they're going to run their offense. It'll just have a little bit of a different flavor to it. We got to go and try to find some film on the new quarterback, and and watch what he does. But just like anybody, I mean, they're not going to make wholesale changes to what they do. They're going to do what they do, and very similar to we have guys banged up. Hey, next guy up, and someone's got to go step in and make the play.
Dan, you said a second ago that you thought your program grew a lot from the Kentucky game last year.
Mm-hmm.
How so?
I think our guys really learned. I think we learned a lot about the players. We didn't. I don't know that we were always putting everybody in the best position to make plays. I think we learned what guys did well and poorly at that point, and we maybe had some guys out of position, and some guys probably playing more than they should. Other guys not playing as much as they should in those ways. I think losing a game kind of motivated the guys in a different way of what we need to do and our sense of urgency of how hard it is to win. So I think they took a lot out of it. I think we went on a pretty good winning streak after that game. And, which sometimes happens. I know we hadn't had a lot of success, I guess, the year before, but came in early and had, game one was good. But then I think we really learned, especially the coaches. Like you say, our job is to put guys in the best position to make plays, and I don't think we were doing that. And not by anything but lack of knowing all the guys on the team and experience of knowing the players and how they react and respond in the game.
Forgive me if I'm asking about state secrets here, but is there any one or a couple of particular examples there that you want to share?
I don't know. There's a lot. There's just a lot of the staff, looking at it, making sure we have all the right guys doing the right things.
Dan, how did the three freshman corners play the other night, and where's your confidence level with them right now?
Pretty good. I thought they did good. Kyer had a great interception. Jaden Hill made a touchdown-saving tackle coming off the backside, coming off his man. Chester's got some experience out there on the field. One of the things that we talked about was getting them all in the game very early, not just say, hey, we'll get a lead and put them in. They started, I think, right in the second series, we started rolling those guys through. So, I think they gained that knowledge and that experience of being out there on the field and playing with the one defense, and so that is going to help them moving forward.
And with Tony out, Copeland, will he get more touches? Did you like what you saw to him the other night?
I thought he did well. We'll see, as it goes. If you look, all our wideouts like to spread the ball around. One of the great things you see is the balance that we have at that position. We had a bunch of those guys get a lot of different touches and catches. So, but I think he has, he did a good job when he got the ball in his hand, and I was pleased with that, and he'll continue to grow.
What specifically is Tony's injury?
It's a shoulder issue. So, but it's something that he could be out for a couple of weeks.
And we talked about how you're scared to scrimmage sometimes because of the live hitting. Would you ever consider not playing starters in a preseason game type thing, maybe like the NFL, a game where you're an overmatched opponent type deal?
No. I think, they need to get their reps and get ready for games, that way. I think we're very fortunate. One of the things we did is very few guys didn't play many plays on Saturday. 30 was a high number if you were on defense to get 30 plays. A lot of guys, I think the most, some offensive linemen probably had the most in 40 to 50 plays, which was good that we're running the ball, moving the ball. I had to start the second half, but we had over 10 linemen have 20 more linemen have more than 20 snaps in the game. So we rolled guys through pretty good. But you need that. We hadn't played in 2 weeks, and you need that to get ready to keep going and keep yourself moving in the right direction. But you can see from games, it's one of the reasons you don't like to go a lot of live scrimmages. You come out, you got injuries. You got guys banged up. We had guys banged up after week 1. You get guys kind of banged up after week 2. If you scrimmage a lot that way, you're going to have more guys banged up that way. And, so that's always a challenge.
Going back to Copeland, what wrinkle can he bring to that unit, and what does he offer?
Well, I think, one of the things, he's a physical guy, has size, and he has that ability where he's a little bit multiple. He's still learning how to be an every down receiver. But a lot like Kadarius in that way, that you can do different things, put the ball in his hands, and he can make things happen. A little different style than Kadarius. So, I mean, it would be, it's not like, hey, we're just going to plug him in with what things Kadarius maybe was doing. But, there's some things that he does pretty well if you put the ball in his hands. But all those guys are, and you have that with Freddie Swain, he's a great kick returner, punt returner, and you put the ball in his hands, you're going to get something a little different. Same with Josh or Van Jefferson. So, just have some tweaks on those things of who's doing what.
And with Sawyer Smith only getting I think a quarter last week for Kentucky, do you go back and look at some of that Troy tape?
Yeah, we have to go back and try to find some Troy stuff just to see, his strengths and some of his strengths and weaknesses. Obviously that's always tricky, more for the coaches than the players, because, you don't want them sitting there because it's going to, you hate all of a sudden there's nothing worse than watching film and then realizing, hey, has nothing to do with the team we're playing. I'm just trying to watch the person. And that can kind of mess with your head, with your reads and what you're seeing. So I know our coaches went back, tried to get some older Troy film and see him play a little bit.
You said if there was one thing you were kind of disappointed was that the O-line didn't pick up the adjustments maybe as quick as you'd like. I was wondering if you could kind of explain what that meant.
Well, I mean, I think, they're as they're going, they're a little different style defense, a little complex. And some of the movements that and stunts they were doing up front, I just think we kind of overreacted to. I have to bring it down to watch the film to show it to you, but just that type of stuff. You're talking about minor things that you wouldn't know. If you went down and watched the film and we studied the film and I could show you, hey, you see this 6-inch step is not where it needs to be, or do you see his shoulder angle has turned from a 45 to a 55-degree angle right there? That's a big problem. Those type of things.
How easy is it getting Troy tape? In this day and age, can't you just get that stuff
I don't think that's real complicated.
I was just wondering, because in the old days, it was like
you got to call somebody. Shoot, back in the old days when I started, you'd have to be in the car. You'd have somebody in the car, right, and saying, hey, knowing somebody at Troy, and hey, we'll meet you in Pensacola or Tallahassee, right? We'll meet you. I'll meet you at the Floribama, have a cocktail, switch tapes, and come back.
It's like deep throat.
Yeah, that's. I was laughing, so that's how I met Jeff Collins. It was our first deal. Not at the Floribama, no. Or having a cocktail. I had a bag of tapes from Columbia, and he had a bag of tapes from Fordham, and we were exchanging to play the next week on Sunday morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know, when I was at Columbia and he was at Fordham. Yeah, he was at Fordham and I was at Columbia, so probably 95? 96 maybe? That's what you do, yeah. You drive halfway, or sometimes you'd be at the airport with the carrier overnight, like a special carrier package if it was too far to drive. But if it was easier, you just meet halfway and exchange the VHS tapes or the beta tapes and go on your way. Now you just hit a button and it's on your computer. If I had just invented that right now, I'd be on my yacht somewhere.
I did actually have a question.
Okay.
But I just thought that was interesting. I was wondering, because you were saying about Troy. How do you evaluate the backup QBs in the game the other night? Emery's passing stats weren't great, but he seemed to be under a lot of pressure. Kyle looks sharp.
Yeah, they did okay. They did okay. It was great to see them. I know I wanted to get them into the game, get them both into the game, and get them in the game at different. They both got in with the ones at some point. At one point, and thought did a good job right there. The benefit is you didn't have to force feed it. It was great to get them those reps because they're play away from being in there, and and they haven't been in live situations in a little while either from them. So it's good to get in that live situation and kind of sort some things out.
Dan, the old cliche about improving the most first, second game. Obviously, by the time you got to your second game, you didn't appear very happy about the first half the other night.
Yeah.
And talk about what you wanted to see and didn't see, and then what you saw the second half.
Well, I mean, to me, it was just all about everything. It's all about the little attentions to detail. You know, little mistake here, little mistake there, and a little mistake here and there caused us to not score on 2 possessions offensively. Right? A little mistake here and a little mistake there allowed them to get I think 5 first downs in the first half. And I want to make sure our guys knew that, you know, you got to fix those things. They weren't going to cost us on Saturday night. But they will cost you moving forward. And I don't know when. It might not be this week, might not be next week or the week after that or 3 weeks after that. I don't know when it would be. But eventually, if you are not paying attention to every little detail, one of those mistakes will end up costing us at a key moment in a game. An avoidable mistake. And that's what I wasn't pleased with. And a lot of that comes with your attention to detail through it's really all through your preparation leading up to the game. And if you miss, I mean, hey, if a guy breaks 3 tackles and runs over our defense, that's doesn't mean we weren't prepared. It means he was a great player. And if we're in position, but if we're out of position, that's a problem. Offensively, you know, if we're playing against Fletcher Cox and we can't block him, that's a different problem. You know what I mean? If we have poor technique in what we're doing, that's our problem. Or if we have a missed assignment, that's our problem. And those are correctable mistakes that are really corrected through your attention to detail and how you practice and how you prepare leading up to the game to make sure that you're exact. If we get beat physically, then by better players, we get beat physically by better players. That's on us to put you in a better situation. But if you're supposed to be covering this guy and you don't cover him, that's a problem. If you're supposed to block that guy and you don't block him, that's a problem, and that's your preparation. And if you don't do it with the right technique a lot of times, that was either you not working hard enough at practice or the scout team guy not giving you the look you need so that you're prepared for those moments.
You didn't get the production the first quarter you wanted, obviously, the points and the yards. And I
only had the ball. We had what did we have? One.
It went 4 on 4th.
Yeah, we had 2 possessions. It ended up falling down and kicking a field goal, and then we didn't get it on 4th down, and that's all we had the ball. You know, in the 4th down play, we missed block. I mean, we just flat whiffed on a block. I mean, it should have been a 10, 15-yard game.
But were they doing anything schematically? Were they crowding a little bit, or what were they doing exactly? No. Last thing, running backs real quick. You got 3 of them. Obviously, you need all of them. Mm-hmm. Can you assess the 3 and what you saw? Malik got a little action.
Yeah, I thought Malik did I mean, it's good to see him getting back. I think you're seeing him get more and more confidence, obviously, after missing last season. And, you know, I saw it, you know, it grow in practice, but it's still a different change even in the game, and you see him getting more confidence. Damian, I think Damian runs hard. Everybody sees that. He's a physical guy that likes to run hard. P. Ryan he can do it all, you know. I mean, he catches it, runs it, you know, really good in pass protection. You know, he's a great every down back. One of the best backs, I think, out there.
Coach, is the lack of turnovers on the defensive side of the ball a concern?
No, not really. We got one. We had a great interception in the game, you know. I mean, it's coaching. You know, we didn't turn the ball over, and I think that's probably attention to detail on our part, not really a concern for UT Martin. It was better attention to detail by us. If you look at our turnovers in the first game wasn't all caused by really what Miami did much. It was our lack of attention to detail. But I thought, you know, the interception we did have was a great play by a young player. You know, in that, you know, position. I was going against their top wideout. I know he's talking to, you know, you get those things. He's an NFL prospect. He's on the people's board as an NFL prospect for them. And, you know, just great technique and fundamentals for a freshman corner to go make that interception. It was a great play.
It's the first true road game. What are some of the adjustments? You got a veteran team that helps.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
We have to get on a plane.
But just to
You have
get
to remember your ID. I mean, no, there's honestly, there's little distractions of that things, of organization, of, as you pack, as you get ready to go, have your ID, have this, come through the walkthroughs. We got to take a bus to get on a plane, get off a plane, get on another bus, get to a hotel. Those little things. And you could say we got a veteran team. There'll be a lot of guys. I'm sure we'll probably get on the plane. It'll be someone's first time ever on an airplane. That's a distraction. I mean, I've had it, and especially if they're really freaks them out and they start freaking out on the plane, it can freak everybody out. Have you ever been on a plane and someone freaks out? It's like, what's wrong, I just think those things can be. No, I mean, I think we have a pretty good routine that we've been through and that we've done, and so I don't think it's that big of a deal. This will be like my 8th or 9th trip to Kentucky, I think. I don't know. I've been there a lot. So I'm pretty comfortable with where we're staying. I can tell you how we take our walk on Saturday morning. So I'm comfortable with it, but, just getting the players in that little different routine, that's about all that there is.
And last thing, defense shutout. I think there have only been 3 since 14. What's that kind of first one in a few years here?
Great.
What's that just kind of do for the confidence or?
Well, it's good. It's good for the young guys. I don't know. Todd looked at me a couple times. We were playing a lot of guys. We played a lot of guys. Got a lot of young guys in the game, and it really, some of it keeps you really simple in what you're doing. Just to get guys on the field. Like, he clicked over once. He goes, boy, there's a good chance they're going to score right here now. And, but fortunately we had guys, I think it shows our young guys bought in. Guys played hard and prevented them from scoring. Even though a lot of those guys hadn't got maybe those reps during the week to be prepared for that, and we kind of kept it really simple for them within our base to give them a chance to go play.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
I guess Bam Hardman coaches at Troy. Someone just texted me.
Is what?
Oh, yeah, Bam Hardman played for us at Troy.
Yeah, so we could call him, and we'd have to make an exchange.